Welcome to Awakening the Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Christian Strang, but you can call me Dr. Christian. Yes, I am so excited to announce that I completed my doctorate in metaphysical psychology. This is the wave of the new doctors for the golden age. Holistic, metaphysical, looking at the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. We are here to work with our advanced technology in an elevated manner. So I'm very excited about this expansion in my journey and so excited to all of the different ways I will be able to serve you as Dr. Heather Christian Strang. But today we are going to focus on February 2022. We've got really, really amazing energy coming into February. We've got the 22222. And with that, we have an oracle reading for you for the month of February. This oracle reading is meant to guide and support you throughout this month, to support you on where to focus, where to place your reflection, maybe even actions for you to take this month that will allow you to live your mission as a divine being in form here on earth with more ease and fulfillment and satisfaction and joy and love and peace. That's the whole purpose of all of the work that I have done over the past 12 years is how can I support as many souls that are called to me in living in as much love, peace, prosperity, joy, well-being, health, vitality as possible while on earth, which is, as we know, a choose-your-own-adventure obstacle course that is going through a massive shift in consciousness from a dualistic plane of consciousness to a consciousness that is led by the light of Source. So you picked the perfect time to be here. We all did. And when I asked Mary Magdalene and all of the highest light, what is the message, the oracle reading for those who are drawn to this podcast and those who are drawn to me to hear and receive for the month of February in the year that we call 2022, I was guided to our oracle ecstatic union with the divine, live rich, live in love, live in peace. And wouldn't you know it, I opened right to page 111. Like, when does this even happen? And the title of the transmission on page 111 couldn't even be more perfect. But of course, this is how it always works. This transmission is the truth about enlightenment. I mean, you cannot make this up. It's so good. So I don't know how much of this transmission I'm going to be reading to you. I may be reading the whole thing. I don't know. I'm going to let the highest light guide us here. However much you need to hear that will most serve you for the month of February is what I'm going to read. So I encourage you to be somewhere where you can be relaxed and in receiving mode and just allow yourself to not so much think about the words that we're saying, but allow yourself to receive the vibrational resonance that the words represent. So everything is frequency, everything is energy, the words we use, the energy we carry, it's all encoded and carrying all kinds of light for your benefit. That's always our intention, right? All of us here gathered that we are bringing the light in all that we speak and all that we do. Why is that important? It's important because Earth is a dualistic plane that's gotten a little bit caught up in the not light. And so those of us that chose to be here at this time, and those of you that are listening to this, we chose to be here at this time to bring more light. Now, part of bringing more light is addressing what within us is not light and what is around us that is not light. But the underlying purpose and message and intention for us is to bring more light to the earth plane. Okay, so let's begin. The truth about enlightenment. It is the pursuit of the light that brings you here, that brings you to us. Do you know this? You are experiencing these transmissions because there is a call very deeply held within you that desires to fully embody the light of Source while in a body. It is the true call of all souls, although many are unable to hear this call or be drawn further forward by this call until they have traveled and chosen in accordance with the highest light. We have said to you that peace and love are at the core of all of you. And if we go further deeper still here, what is underneath, so to speak, this peace and love is light. It's the highest light. It is the light with which you are, with which all are, at the corest of the core. And so you use terms like enlightenment to discuss what you are here for in this life unfolding. Only typically this term of enlightenment is used for specific, often more what you might describe as rigid spiritual paths, and it is this that we would like to set you free from now. Often the term enlightenment is denoted with an air of what we would call pretension. That it is a pathway only for a select few, maybe even a select few you would regard in the realms of monks or nuns, namely individuals who separate themselves from actively engaging in life in a more traditional sense, and who fully repress their physical and sexual desires in order to attain such a quote-unquote elevated state. And we will not disregard that, yes, enlightenment is a full embodiment of the light of Source while in a body, and it is an elevated state. This as such, comparatively speaking, to the general collective consciousness. However, those embodying the light of Source while in a body provide a vibrational offering that is unparalleled, and thus makes for the availability of greater enlightenment available to more souls, so that they may also have an opportunity to embody the light of Source in this way. Are you beginning to see how this works? And so perhaps early on in your spirit in a body evolution, there were not as many of those with the understanding and conscious, focused awareness of what they were even doing here in a body. Early on, there were still so many, for lack of a better term, glitches being worked through about how things unfold once your soul entered a physical body. And that the primary purpose was to have the experience of being in a body while being fully led by and embodying the light of Source. Which I will add here is what Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and many other great masters have demonstrated. Now, through the process of what you call evolution, and of what we call the only thing that was ever going to occur for you while in a body, more and more of you are aware of this desire to become fully embodied by the light of Source while in a body. And now, because of this, more of you are stepping onto this path, whether you even fully consciously understand this or not. In fact, if you are experiencing these words right now, you are on the path of what you call enlightenment. You are on the path. You are fully on the path to embodying the light of Source while in a physical body. And when you do that, you make available at a more readily available placement than was currently available to more individuals to also do the same. This oneness concept we will never let you off the hook from. You can see how it is truly so at work in everything. As you raise your vibrational, frequency into greater alignment with the true you, the pathways are opened for more to do the same. And so there are those of you, what we have called the way showers, leading the charge, as it were, of what the path of enlightenment, of fully embodying the light of Source while in a body and actively participating, looks like. You are all at various levels of this, depending on your specific trajectory. And if you are here experiencing these words, loving this experience with us and with Christian, you are on that pathway. And there is no way, we must tell you, to not be on this pathway once you are on it. And so the question now is not, where is my escape route? But rather the question is, how do I continue to more fully embody my path of enlightenment? And how can I support the breaking free of the constraints that are often associated with this word in my particular culture? Enlightenment is not a pathway of sterility. It is the pathway of the divine. It involves sex. Yes, sacred, aligned sexual union. It involves what you call money as an exchange for thriving, where all parties are blessed and go higher accordingly. It involves what you call death, and that it involves the understanding of the transitioning of energy from physical to non-physical, and your direct involvement in that unfolding and in that shifting of energy. It involves all of the things that perhaps you have thought were not to be associated with enlightenment. But we ask you, how could you fully embody what it means to be in physical form without it encompassing all of the aspects of both physical and non-physical? We want very much for you to understand this truly holy pathway that you are on. And we know you have moments where you are wanting very much to jump off this pathway. That is to be expected, as you are still integrating your understanding of what this pathway is and what it asks of you. Or you look longingly at those who are in a completely different framework in their evolution of their path, and you think, perhaps that would be easier. But of course, our dear ones, this is the path you came here most for. And whenever you are looking at another, it would serve you well to know that this path is the path they also came for as well. It just may not align to their consciousness for several more, a couple more, a dozen more lifetimes. But that is not your business. Others' paths, which one is at, is not your business. Excuse me, I'm getting so verklempt from this transmission. Your business is you. Your business is showing up each day and asking, how may I embody the light, the radiant, glorious, divinely aligned light of Source more fully in my life unfolding? How may I more fully allow this light to radiate from every cell in my body as I walk this pathway of embodiment, of enlightenment, of all that isness, that is the true, unadulterated me? We are here, walking beside you, our dear ones, and we are bringing to you via these transmissions and anything else we guide Christian to offer to support your path of enlightenment. We cannot force or make or cajole you into any action. You must do the choosing. You must take the action. Even so, it was so very important for us to share with you this increased understanding of living in the enlightened state that you came for. This is living in love as you most desire from your corest of core essence. Now that you know this, whatever will you do with this information? Our intention here for you is that it will allow you to more fully feel your divinity, and as such take actions that truly feel aligned for you and that honor this divinity that you are. That you will choose in each moment the action step, the unfolding, the response that truly is the full expression of who you really are, of who you most came to be. And when that is not accessible by you, we ask that you use the tools we have given to you via these transmissions and Christian's offerings to be there to clear the conditioned pain, responses, and projections, and to then step back into, align back into the truest path that you ever came for. Living in the truest form of love that can be lived, to live in the enlightened state while in a body that you always desired to live in. For you are here now, and it's time. This is the lifetime that you have the full conscious understanding that this is your path and that you are to partner with others like you to create an elevation of the vibrational frequency of enlightenment that has never before been carried forward in any other time in consciousness. And that in doing so, you are literally providing access of this vibration to the next generation. We're here to support you in exactly this. And we see this being carried out by you with such ease, such grace, such joy, such love and bliss. And so it is. It is so. Take a nice deep breath into that. I am marveling because I believe I channeled that in 2015. Or early 2016. And here it is. So exactly what we needed. And it's in the section, an ecstatic union with the divine, that is live in love. And what is the guidance for us in 2022? Immense love. That's the frequency to connect to. That's the frequency to create from. That's the frequency to be in. How do we let love guide us? We talked about this in last month's podcast and oracle reading. It's the immense love frequencies. That's the frequency you're here for. The 222 is the 6 of unconditional love. And when we pair that unconditional love with the divine, we have immense love. So you're here for great purpose and great reason. And we often think, because of the conditioning, at least in the Western world, that great purpose and that great mission looks like some celebrity that's been curated before us. Remember, all the celebrities are curated for your programming. So we think the great thing that we're going to do is going to be like what's been revered in the mainstream. And we want you to know that your purpose, that your enlightenment is happening right now in your day-to-day unfolding. I was talking about this with our apprentices last week when we kicked off our Sacred Spirituality Coach Certification offering, and I talked about that immense love. When my husband asked me the same question for the 500th time, how do I respond? That's the path of enlightenment, right? It's not this pedestal kind of thing that the Western world likes to do. It is in each moment that you are in a body. How much light can I bring to myself? How much light can I bring to those I live with? How much light can I bring to those that I serve? How much light can I bring to the earth when I'm walking in nature? How much light can I bring to the grocery store or the market or the Zoom? How much light can I bring? And you'll notice in the transmission, this is not a repression of our sexual energy, of our prosperity energy, right? The old story, the old program is, enlightened ones aren't prosperous. But that's not actually true, right? That's actually a lie that you've been told. You're the most prosperous when you allow the full embodiment and unification of the light of Source within your physical advanced technology temple. This also does not diminish or ask you to repress the aspects within you that are horrible. I was going to say that suck, and then I was like, that seems harsh. But we all have aspects that are not amazing. Yeah, it's baked into the cake. That's part of the deal, being on earth. And why? Why do we carry these aspects that are not amazing? Well, because those who came before us, our ancestors, they didn't quite get to everything, right? So it gets passed on. Somebody's got it. The energy can only be transformed. It can't be destroyed. So that negative, whatever it is, that addiction, that low self-esteem, that sabotage, that self-doubt, whatever it is, that energy doesn't just disappear. It has to be transformed. So it gets passed down to the next generation. So it's you and me, kid. We got to do this, right? We have to transform and take that energy of what you might call, we would call it the highest level, disconnected from Source, but others might call it darkness or not goodness or whatever it is. We have to transform that. And what's the number one way to transform that which lives within us, which is not the light of Source? Love, acceptance. I see you and I love you, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm here for you. I got you. Why is this important? Well, it tells us in the transmission, right? We're carrying the light now for the next generation. There's these amazing light beings coming onto the earth. But if we just give them the same programming that we were given, we're not evolving forward, right? You see this in families. I see it in my own family. We see it. There are certain members of the family that are evolving that shit forward. And then there's certain members of the family that are just repeating the same shit their parents did and their parents did and their parents did. And then they're having children and they're just passing it down. And then it's just, and that is not how we live in the next golden age, right? So those aspects within us that come from our ancestors, there's also aspects within us from other incarnations, some here on earth, some not on earth, that the soul experienced and we didn't do such an amazing job, and that's okay. Because what happened when we began to incarnate into bodies, the ultimate wound was formed. We talk about this, I believe, in our first oracle, A Life of Magic. The first wound was formed, that feeling of separation, which is the greatest lie. You cannot be separated from that which you truly are. And that which you truly are is source, my dears. But we came back and incarnated into bodies to remember this. And our mission here every single day is to bring more of that light of source into this physical temple and live more in that way. That's it. That's what Mary Magdalene demonstrated. That's what Yeshua, the one, his story got hijacked and they call him Jesus Christ, and he has his take on that, and we share that as often as we can. That's what Buddha did. That's what Mother Mary, that's what many great masters did. How do I allow the light of source to embody this physical apparatus, this advanced technology, because your body is the most advanced technology next to the earth herself. Everything humans are creating, they're trying to mimic what the body just innately does. Which is why you can't just look at the body physically, and you can't just look at it mentally, and you can't just look at it emotionally, and you can't just look at it spiritually. You have to look at the entire holistic, which is why I got my doctorate in metaphysical psychology. You have to look at the whole thing. And my training's in energy medicine and Western medicine and Eastern medicine, and bringing it all together because we are that advanced and incredible. Okay. So thank you for being here on earth, incarnating during this incredible time, and for being on the path of enlightenment. And allow this to bless you in the days to come throughout this month of February. Allow these words, revisit them whenever you feel called to revisit the transmission, and allow that light of source to wash over you and to remind you and connect in deeper again and again. Because it is in the day-to-day that our path of enlightenment is. It's not in some big hurrah. It is in the day-to-day. All right, my loves, if this was a benefit to you, if this supported you on your journey, please feel free to share it on your social networks or share it with those that you love, forward it to those that you love, and feel free to pick up a free transmission from us on our website, sacred-spirituality.org. There is a Sacred Love transmission from Mary Magdalene there. There's also a free Golden Age visualization meditation. So powerful. The more that we focus there, the more we live in those frequencies, which is the Golden Age frequencies, the Enlightenment frequencies. And that requires, do not forget, this requires us to go through the disconnected from source pieces within us, the disconnected from source pieces that may be pressing in around us, the disconnected from source pieces in our relationship, which is part of the deal. So you're doing great. We love you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you in all the ways that we may be inspired to connect. May the highest light of source be with you. And so it is.